The Jewish story. This week's story from the Holocaust is taken from the book Wrestling with the Angel, Toward a Jewish Understanding of the Nazi Assault on the Name, written by David Patterson. The ferocious silence of isolation. Death is silence, says Neher. Silence overtaking life. He goes on to assert that Auschwitz is above all silence. Putting the two together may be ontologically accurate, but it is Jewishly problematic. From a Jewish standpoint, as we have seen, to be turned over to death is to be turned over not to silence, but to a question put to us by the angel of death. If, however, Auschwitz is the death of the angel of death, Neher is quite right when he says, Auschwitz is above all silence. It is the silence that in Hebrew is shtika, a cognate of the word shituk, which means paralysis. It is the silence of the muted angel. When Eugene Heimler was finally freed from the concentrationary universe of silence, the silence followed him into an open field. I became aware that the silence was within me too, he writes, a silence such as there must have been before the days of creation. Why the silence before the days of creation? Because this is a silence imposed by an absolute metaphysical destruction of life and death. It is the mute silence of an imposed absence, the silence of the word torn from its meaning, and of the man torn from a life that inheres in language. It is the silence of the silenced angel. There is the silence which preceded creation, Wiesel said, and the one which accompanied the revelation on Mount Sinai. The first contains chaos and solitude. The second suggests presence, fervor, plenitude. The first is the silence of the name before he uttered a name. The second is the silence of meaning within and beyond the name, the silence of human relation, expressive of the relation to the name. The return to freedom lies in a return to these relations that constitute the substance of life. It lies in having a place, a makom, to return to. Liberation from Auschwitz, therefore, would be liberation from the silence of chaos and isolation, and a return to presence and plenitude. For the survivor, this liberation means that when he speaks to a human being, he meets with a human response. It means that when he speaks, someone listens. For this offering and receiving of the word is just what creates a place, a space between two, where presence may enter human life, but this space does not open with the opening of the gates. The case of Moshe the Beadle in Wiesel's Night may be seen as a paradigm for the condition of the one who emerges from the kingdom of death. Like Moshe, the survivor returns from the depths of a mass grave to tell the tale of his own death, but he cannot complete his return, for no one listens. He no longer talked to me of God or the Kabbalah, Wiesel relates, but only of what he had seen. People refused not only to believe his stories, but even to listen to them. In one generation after, Wiesel remembers Moshe saying, he alone survived. Why? So that he could come back to his town and tell the tale. And that is why he never stopped talking. But his audiences, weary and naive, could not believe. Finally understood and fell silent. Only his burning eyes revealed the impotent rage inside him. His muteness bordered on madness. Like Moshe, many other survivors were locked into the ferocious silence of isolation through the silence they encountered in others. Liberated from one prison, they were delivered over to another, to the prison of refusal and disbelief erected by those who were outside the antiworld. The victims who had been removed from the human world could be liberated only by regaining contact with that world. The most essential element of this contact lies in the word, in a language that would engender the human relation within which freedom lives. But the word lives through the response it invokes. When the response fails, so does the liberation. And the most urgent response, the response that brings a genuine liberation, is the response to the question that the angel of death puts to us. One realizes then how profound is the urgency underlying the word that comes to us through the testimony and through the eyes of those who saw what took place in that realm. and one realize what is placed in our care, shall we too refuse to listen, and thereby refuse these witnesses their liberation? Please pass on.